back again.
It is 12 now. It could be 13.
Today election day.
Yeah, I know. Hopefully it's not 13. I mean, I'm happy that it's still going on, but like it's an unlucky number for election day for sure.
Exactly, man. Exactly. But we back again. It's the guys of grade A living. It's your boy Kingsley, aka Drip Washington, or Booker Smart T Washington.
And it's your boy Rob, a.k.a. Bobby.
Bobby.
It's your world,
Okay.
huh, Bobby?
All right. I'm Mars, aka Bernie Yak. We're back with another Guide to Grade A Living, sipping on this Monaco. They do not sponsor us, but we enjoy the beverage. I've got a little essential water, so if anybody wants to cut us a check, go ahead. I'll hoard myself right now for some extra money. No, I really wouldn't, but I'll take.
We
the
are
corporate check.
episode 13 right
We
now.
are 13.
Whoa.
Goddamn well. Prayers up for our
praise
For
to
Beto.
favorites. Yeah. I think Beyonce might have cursed Buddy though.
Ah, man, I hope she didn't curse him, man. All that money spent on election day, and she come through with 3 good posts for Beto Aurora.
Yeah, in a Beyonce fashion, though. It's cool. Celebrity endorsements don't mean much. She also, see, that's what I'm saying. In politics, Beyonce, she's 0 for 2 now. Hillary Clinton as well. Well, I guess she got the Obama one, but, like, who didn't vote for Obama? Who didn't, like, endorse Obama? Like, you got to do Obama, bro. He was ultimately the raw one. But 1 for 3, I guess 33%. Not bad. Still got a little.
You can't go 1 and 4.
No, you can't. You
Yeah,
can't go 1 for
yeah.
4. Can't go 1 for
You-
4.
Well, at least she won one.
But
you
you
don't want to
know,
be the Buffalo Bills of the situation.
no.
Whoa.
No. And that's random, but like on some superstition shit. What if that's the one thing Beyonce can't do is properly endorse a political candidate? Kaboom! That would fuck the game up.
What if she jinx candidate?
She did. She endorsed Beto.
Put a curse on them.
Beto down in her home state of Texas. She endorsed him. Yeah. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's 0 for 2. Obama would have been her only endorsement that she would have got. But it's like, who didn't go for Obama? You know, like, what if Beyonce could probably fucking fly for all we know right now. But what if the one thing she can't do is get the right people in the office with her endorsement? That would be a crazy, like, celebrity curse to have. Kanye can't make sense when he talks in front of people all the time. He's awesome musically, can't talk, but he's a genius. Anywho,
It's a lot of eyes on Florida right now too. The governor's race.
it is.
I heard some wild stuff before we get on the before we came on the podcast.
What'd you hear?
I heard the black governor might be bisexual, man.
Whoa.
This is the thing. I did hear that as well.
That was wild
I guess
when I first
I
heard
guess
it,
I'll
too.
let him.
It's wild in the state of Florida.
I'm gonna let him identify himself, but like for Florida to not only elect a black
I hope my
governor,
city give me no
but
fake
one
information, man. No
that-
fake news, man.
but for you to, what was it, an assistant? You to have sex with your assistant, and it happened to be a young
oh
man.
shit!
Whoa.
That's a hell of a country. But only in Florida could the governor get
Whoa.
away with that shit.
Whoa.
You got any
Then that's
other
the whole situation
recent
right
live
there.
updates?
I'm looking at the live updates right now. We got Illinois. We got Bernie Sanders.
Is Pritzker still holding in Illinois? That's still like the thing.
Yeah, Pritzker still
Yeah, he
holding
won the
it
whole
there.
thing.
That's what I figured when they announced. Fox News was the announcement I saw, so I was like, oh, I know that shit is done. Fox don't give nobody
Sound
no
like
love
100
until
mil
after the fact.
plus 150.
That's-
His ad.
So that's kind of my thing. All right, so election day is here. It's almost over. By the time we finish wrapping up the recording and all that, we'll probably start seeing more of the real results. What is it that you all would like to see? Because now we're going to shift from 2018 to 2020. That's a really, really, really big deal coming up. I think for me, like prison reform and marijuana legalization across the country could actually come up as really big things in the
Healthcare.
future. Healthcare is going to always be a thing. That's like people always going to fight over healthcare. That's where our
That's
tax
like the top
dollars
of my
go.
list.
But like, what else other than that? Like something new.
Education
Get
as
into
well. You know,
I'm big for the environment. I want to see what's gonna happen with this whole global warming and like what we're gonna try to do to curb it. Same thing with like emissions, with the straw. Like I want to see how far we go with like actually like caring about what we're gonna do with the environment because it seems like nobody cares. It seems like we seem like we're gonna go like very very far left where we need to go to get to a real good like climate like. Trump threw out everything the EPA was doing, and only state that really cares is California. But California is like its own like nation almost.
Yeah, and it's also like the home of the hippie movement as well as so many other progressive movements. California's just on that. But also so many people and like it's only limited resources in such a big ass nation. Also Hollywood, where excess is just right in front of your face with everything. Like Skid Row is right around the corner from where fucking rich people are living. So that shit is super duper real. I think that might make it, but I think it takes a little bit more of the will of like the media for it to really become a thing. And the media is still corporate as hell, and those corporate motherfuckers are golf buddies with oil execs. So, and that's kind of been the thing, like sustainability. You know, I've been like on my little Mother Earth shit for a while now, and that's always been the one thing that hasn't happened is just like more media presence of that topic. We talk about immigration all the time. We talk about weed from time to time. CNN even does documentaries on this shit like they want to be Vice or something. But nobody's sitting up there on their Al Gore shit talking about how can we maintain and contain this temperature from rising, because honestly by 2100 they say we might be at 4 degrees Celsius. That's 2 degrees higher. The Great Barrier Reef could go away. So many of our plants could literally die.
Man, I'm really hoping that people know how to swim. For real.
It ain't swimming. That's what's gonna help you. Like it won't be enough food out there. Like food
it's projected not to be enough food. It's projected
on top
to be
of that, because like the water goes up. Sea
level rise is definitely a thing. People will just move inland more. Like Miami may go underwater. New Orleans may go underwater. It won't take over. Like it's gonna be forever and a day. We won't be alive to tell if. I mean, we'll see. Yeah, it's like certain island nations and shit. Like the Philippines could go underwater, unfortunately. You say who is?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I know about Venice. So like certain shit like that is happening, but as far as like the world isn't going underwater just because sea levels are rising. But it's gonna cause massive displacements of people.
Like hella people. It's gonna be hella different things. Clothes, food. Hella food's not gonna be around. They're actually starting to produce beef in Russia now. Like they had hired hella farmers to like raise cattle in Russia and shit, which is wild, but they're trying to become like, a new beef capital. So like
with all those land.
It's a lot of land in Russia. But then you also have to worry about the evolution of a certain cow that can survive in that time. That's a real thing. Like
Russian cows.
At the end of the day, the underlying message is the world is getting hotter faster than living organisms can evolve to keep up with it. So what the fuck can we do in order to maintain life and civilization? Because otherwise it ain't happening.
Invest in women. And with that being said, we have our guests coming on the show right now. We have Slay. We have Jackie. Invest in women. They will save the world.
They have a
future.
I'll give up.
Yeah, here. No, we're just going to go right here, Mars.
Sorry for the little slow transition for the people on iTunes, Google Play, SoundCloud. Everybody's coming to the stage right now.
This man went from global warming to the future is female. That was a crazy pivot.
That's always the same bet. How are we going to save the world?
How can we stop gun violence? The future is female. Well, hello, ladies. Welcome.
Peace. How's it going?
It's number one in the hood. G like Aquitaine Hunger Force.
How you guys feeling right now, Slay, Jackie?
Good. Pretty good.
Talk to the mic. Talk to the mic.
This good?
Okay, yeah, you good.
Right
You good. So, man, ladies, tell the world what you guys do. Slay, you kill the world with your nails. Jackie, you got the Coochie conference. But y'all come together. Y'all do the Coochie conference together. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Tell everybody about y'all. For people who don't know who you guys are, give me your Twitter handle, your Instagram, or whatever.
Okay. Well, my Twitter and Instagram handles are both Slay Lewis. The Lewis is spelled with 2 extra S's.
Okay.
I said 3 earlier, and I realized that's really confusing.
So that's 3 at the end, right?
So there's 3 at the end.
Bang.
Total.
LEWISSS.
Okay.
And yeah, as of like 5 months ago, I do nails. Should I look at y'all? Or the camera, doesn't matter.
No.
Okay.
You free.
Oh, that little thing is
the camera.
Sorry, I've never done this before, so I just
No,
realized
it
how-
is super
how-
cool.
That's
It's
really
super
cool.
cool. Yeah, it's
Is
super
that like
cool.
specifically for podcasts to broadcast?
No, we
No.
do live
Actually
streams
live
of
right
comedy
now.
shows, concerts. We've done a bunch
But
of
like
things
it's
with it.
specifically for live stream.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, right on.
Sorry.
Got it.
So
Maybe,
yeah, I
maybe,
do that.
maybe you guys could live stream the Coochie conference.
That would
Oh.
be next level.
We can talk about we can talk about the pros and cons of that.
Talk
That would
about
be-
the Coochie conference. Because I think I've been to the Coochie conference one time, right?
Didn't you come to the 2-year anniversary party?
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
Same.
So that's not usually that was a party. I mean, we were just celebrating for sure.
Okay.
Usually we gather.
Oh, it's
and-
not normally
and
like that.
Usually we gather.
Whoa,
and
you
we
look serious.
discuss.
Me?
Yeah.
Because it's not me. It's not. That was a treat.
Okay, so tell me
Well,
more.
it's always a treat, but that was like a special.
So tell me more about the Coochie conference. Tell me more what it's about.
Okay.
Well, okay, so it started in
like doing
2016. Basically, how it kicked off is that like I was getting more into like art culture and just being more familiar with the city because I'm originally from Belize. And something that I saw that was going on was that there was just like a wild disconnect between women, and I felt like on one hand you had like women who were open about their sexuality and body positive and all of that. On the other hand, you had like activists who were kind of like, they were focused and they were, I don't know, how else would you describe that?
People there's a divide of how people kind of use their instrument.
Right, and what those instruments were, and I felt like because there was a disconnect, there
Instruments
was
are
also
like body parts or
Like how you use your body and how you use your power.
okay.
right.
Like when Coochie Conference first kicked off, it was so much sex working talk and like
The most
What
literal
type-
sense of like using your body as an instrument.
yeah,
of
and just
survival,
and
profit,
how
so
we
on and so
police
forth.
that. I feel like that's like the extreme. How women choose that empowers them, but we police it at the same time, and that whole bag. And then there's like, extremely scholarly women coming at their power in a totally different way. Usually, those things don't
the
come together well because it's like usually what we see is like that's not how you be a woman.
Right.
And it's like
Right.
there's
When you're trying to own
There's so
it,
much
and
to
then
it.
There's like a lot of back and forth discussion about you owning it.
yeah.
And I felt like there was just a lot of disagreeing, and I think that people spend a lot of time trying to agree and trying to like persuade one another and convert one another, and not everybody's doing enough listening and trying to understand what's really going on. Because when you get these women in the same room, as we found out with CC, a lot of their experiences are exactly the same. You know what I mean? A lot of their background is exactly the same, and there's just one small thing that they haven't considered that instantly like, kicks down a whole new door of like, I don't know, exploration, understanding, whatever. And yeah,
It levels the playing field.
a lot.
When we started, when we decided to start Coochie Conference, I had been praying for this, like, call to the feminine. I had been praying for this call to the feminine. I don't know, like, what it was. Sometimes I just go through, I don't know, spells like that.
Okay.
And so much of, I don't know if we would just, like, see each other at events or something like that, or activity on Twitter.
Was this around the time of the election?
Yeah.
Was it like grab her by the pussy? Because I mean, you guys said 2 years ago, and I'm thinking like, man, what was
You
going
know
on?
what?
in the
I think
world?
election was like our
The tipping point.
early on.
It was like very
No,
early
we
on.
started-
in
we started
August,
bef-
and
we
I think
started
it was like the
before.
election should happen in November.
Yeah,
they were
but
on the
no,
campaign.
that time when
Yeah.
Trump said grab her by the pussy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's
You know
Ironically.
the funny thing about Coochie Conference is people are like, oh, like, is it a feminist group?
It's not.
No,
And
you
it's
wouldn't
not.
seem
I
like
mean,
it.
and like what I've learned is like by definition. I mean, I guess the definition is so botched. Like I believe in the unity. It's not. We didn't. That was one of the first things
Still
we talked
female
about
empowerment.
too.
It's still
Yeah.
One of the
female
first things we
empowerment,
talked about was like, yo, do you consider? I see everything you're talking about, But like, do you consider yourself a feminist?
What
'Cause
is
I
a
don't.
feminist?
I feel like people want me to be a feminist.
Yeah, and that was another thing that like sparked the whole CC shit because I was just like, at the time, I felt I'm not a feminist. You
What
know
is
what
a
I mean?
feminist,
It
though?
was
It depends who
one
you
that
ask
it's,
these days.
like we said
but-
before, just leveling the playing field instead of like doing that between women like we do at CC. It's more so like with genders, just like making sure that you have the same rights. You have your paternity leave is an issue, or maternity leave is an issue,
and paternity
paternity
leave.
leave.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean, just like getting
equality between the sexes, but
Right.
that isn't something that I specifically strive for. But I know that's my, there's a lot of events that have spanned out in my life that have allowed me that perspective, where I'm not looking for. My motive
Right.
isn't equality with men. My motive is
Betterment.
just me,
Better
like
quality
me
of
going
myself.
hard and
Real,
nothing,
real. Okay.
nothing.
Because
Equity,
as possible. I'm never-
equity.
If I could
Equity.
interject really quick, I believe like under the general thing, like there's a lot of like nuance to it and actual depth and all that, but like it's still about the equal rights of men with women. I think we generally all do believe in that. Like I believe in equal pay and paid maternity and paternity leave and things like that. But I understand if y'all like that wasn't y'all angle. Like that's not where you were coming at it from.
Right,
You
right,
were
and
more
that's why,
about-
and that's
yeah,
why I
yeah,
said like
yeah.
that's when it first started in doing CC and being around these women once a month and really listening to them and like you know what I mean, learning more.
Right.
I feel like now it is safe to say that I'm a fucking feminist. Like there's really no way.
And it's
And
so
like,
much.
nothing wrong with that.
It's so much with it. It's like being a
but-
civil rights activist or something. Like you may not agree with every single thing that motherfucking like W.E. Du Bois
Right.
said.
It's like
But you
we
still
realized
believe in
we
that.
were so a part of the conversation. I mean, we were.
But as long as you guys
Right.
have that
That
good
you
discussion and foundation, you guys could, go from there.
Right.
Yeah, I
That's
think we
the goal.
definitely have. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was. Yeah, I think. Like I'm so okay with identifying with feminism and like that now because I've lived it fully, and we were. There's no way we could have the conversations we were having without. Without feminism, like we can't be a
Right.
part of that conversation that we so need to have without
And
identifying
also in
somewhat
a-
as a feminist.
And sorry to interrupt you, but I
You're
feel like
good.
also in a way like a lack thereof too. Like if the women that came to CC didn't have so many different views and understandings of things, we wouldn't be able to have the quality of conversation that we have, and we wouldn't be able to learn
that's
as much
real,
as we
that's
know.
real.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Because
There's power in
whatever we
that,
talk
yeah.
about, there's always somebody on one end and somebody on the
Yeah.
other end.
The craziest thing that happens in the meetings is the willingness to just be vulnerable. And that's
Right.
even at the way people listen and the way people share.
Right.
People just drop in. We're not we have certain rules or codes that we abide by, but we don't push them so much. It's more just creating the space. And that's the thing that I learned from the most is people's willingness to drop into that that vulnerable space and respect it. And then it's like it's an experience, and that's something I think that goes along with like trying to having the different parties and doing kind of like field trip stuff.
Right.
It's really giving people. A
That's right.
moment,
You
the
guys
whole
did like
experience.
go to like a lodge or something a couple weeks ago. Like
Yeah.
it was something out of town. I remember seeing y'all on.
Yeah.
What's some of the different CC
We had a
events that have
retreat.
gone on?
I think the first field trip. That's just
Yeah,
what I
it's
call
like
it.
a-
I don't-
it's a field
the
trip.
first
Cool
event
name,
or
yeah.
other experience we did was the pole dancing class.
Yep. And then we
That
do
was fun.
the lingerie party every year.
Okay, so that's an
Yeah,
annual
that's
thing
another
that you
thing.
do.
And what's
Okay,
the
okay.
upcoming event coming up?
The next one is gonna be a judo-based self-defense class.
Nice.
So how do
Very
women
nice.
find out about you guys, and then what do they want to like somehow join CC?
They can find us on our social medias. They can email us at let's chat at coochieconference.com.
Lit.
There's a website, coochieconference.com.
Oh shit!
Pretty simple.
Damn.
And you could just email us from there.
Oh shit! So
And
it's,
yeah, just to find out, we don't blast too much stuff out, but you'll always find a little something, date, time, place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like
Topic.
I've seen it grow, but I've only been to like I believe the last event you all had. Heard great things. Like y'all got a nice little buzz and a sense of community that you all are fostering. What is you all's perspective on where you've come from as an overall community. So y'all know like a nice little bit of people throughout the city, get a nice little bit of love and support. Everything, at least at the last event that I attended, seemed very, very, very like loving and like progressive. But like,
I'm
where
glad
did
you had that
come
experience.
From? Yeah, where did that come from? And like, where's that going? Where do you see it?
I think that came. Sorry.
No, I think it's always. Okay, I think it's always been a loving environment and a loving space, right? Okay. And that's something that I definitely am going to make sure that and I'm sure Jackie's on the same page, you know what I mean? We're going to make sure that that's something that continues throughout the entirety of CC. But in terms of, like, growth, I feel like it's a lot less intimidating now than it was before. Just in the name too, and that's probably just for people seeing it all the time and like being more familiar with it. But I know when it first came out, my mouth was like Coochie conference. That sounds like a stank. Yeah. Like what the fuck is that? You know what I mean? Or like women getting together. I know they like talking good shit about niggas, or you know what I mean, or whatever. But I think now people are starting to understand that it's not about that. Like we've shown improved time and time and time and time again. And so people are getting more comfortable. I also think that we were not filming anything before.
Yeah. I remember that was the rule.
And we're still not in the actual meeting, but we took a step and we actually had one of our friends, Joe Swanberg, who is the director of Easy. He filmed us for one of the episodes, so that's like huge.
Nice.
People get to see it and like.
Whoa,
yeah.
CC's on Netflix.
It's gonna be pretty.
Whoa,
that's right.
Bomb drop.
Yeah.
Boom. Mega.
Yeah,
it's like a couple of the characters come to CC.
Nice.
Whoa.
Very dope.
Yeah.
I feel like the angle.
You guys are so humble.
Like I understand like the we're not so like feministy fists up like girl power type of shit, but it feels like there's a way. Like, y'all motive is, like, embracing the strength within femininity?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Bam. Okay.
Right.
Cool.
Right.
I think
and just letting it be that. Just let it be strength. Just let it be power and let it move you however it moves you. You know what I mean?
I think our whole process has been, like, we know what the bigger pictures and the bigger vision is. But our process has been, like, very organic and, like, not pushing it and like letting it nurture and foster itself.
Right.
And yeah, we're seeing the fruits of that.
I really want to do. Oh, sorry.
No.
I really want to get into more co-ed CCs. We've done them before, but I feel like in terms of not necessarily how we've grown, but how I want to grow or how we want to grow is definitely in that direction.
Yeah,
and have more men in the space.
Yeah, and I feel like men should get a little bit of that from y'all. Y'all got a different angle that is very unique and insightful. So I feel like bringing a couple guys in, especially ones that are going to be a little more receptive to it.
Right,
it's a strong step in the right direction.
The co-ed ones I'm like super excited about because in a way it almost feels like it's a huge goal because so much of what we believe is just trying to unify things. Like we don't want a world without men. And all the times that we've had co-ed ones, it's been I don't know, they're always nice, but they just prove to be a challenge because it's harder to get to that vulnerable space. There's so much more.
There's a lot to unpack before you even like.
I mean, even before we came on our show, we had a conversation about what happened on Facebook yesterday, and that's a lot to unpack.
Yeah,
that's a lot to unpack.
Let's tell the audience what happened.
Listen, gender and sexuality.
Can you inform the people what happened yesterday on Facebook in Chicago?
Yeah. So a page was made on Facebook called Chicago DL Niggas Exposed, and there was like a rainbow at the end. Let me give you full detail because it's still like fresh on my mind. But essentially, like an admin or the admin of that page was a transsexual woman, and she was releasing private messages that she had with men in Chicago, primarily on the West Side, and was just like, broadcasting them for everyone to see on some you know, you think these niggas is so street and they so hood and they whatever, but really they in my inbox trying to fuck. You know what I mean? On some shaming shit.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it's
That's
basically
what it went
Facebook was up in flames. It was
Yeah,
crazy.
I didn't know that happened on
Everybody was-
Facebook.
I'm gonna show you guys. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna pull it up real fast. But yeah, it's
man.
crazy. Like
It's the mess.
they said one
Let me
person
tell
committed
you-
suicide yesterday.
Whoa.
You see what I'm saying? See, I wouldn't mind if they shared the messages if they blocked the names.
Nah,
'Cause I think the
Yeah.
messages
it's
is
videos,
powerful.
pictures.
I think just
Whoa.
the messages is powerful because people
Somebody
need to
killed
know
theyself.
Yeah.
that this is what's
Yeah.
going on in the world.
Right.
Like people, because it isn't just that these people are down low and lying to their families or themselves. We don't. Everyone's sexual identity like has to be evaluated. Not everyone. Like I feel good. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But we've just been so much has been shoved down our throat, and it's like I think it goes. Why are so many people trying to fool each other?
Mm-hmm.
Why aren't they? Why don't we have a society where people can have? I don't know.
Like take me as who
Take
I am.
me as I am and be able to
Yeah.
find the pleasure that they need.
Like in Europe.
Because it's not all cut and dry, black
Is
and
it like
white.
that in
Oh,
Europe?
well,
So
you
I've heard,
gay,
yeah.
straight, bi don't really become
Well,
a
now
thing
because
and blah, blah,
people-
blah.
I think
it's a
people-
lot of nuance.
People found gay to. I think a lot of people have found gay to be a safe place. Like could be people who
As
I think
opposed
a lot
to
of
here's what I
really,
think-
really getting down to
here's
your
what I
true.
think.
Yeah.
It depends what
yeah.
race you are to say that though.
I think
To
it's
say what?
It's
Why
safe
does
to
it
be
say-
gay.
I don't like.
no.
'cause-
Well, let me. I don't know, let me
Compared
say-
to
I don't know why that
compared
makes
to
race.
compared to having a sexual
It's
relationship with a transgender person.
Oh, I'm just about being gay in general. Like I think it's very
No.
hard.
I'm
Like,
saying the way people-
being gay is safer than saying I'm into trans women.
And I'm still
Oh.
and I still
Yeah.
consider myself.
I think
straight.
people-
Yeah,
people use their
why
gender-
Why stereotype like that, Jackie?
People use their gender and their sexuality as
1-2 punch.
as shield.
Mm.
sometimes.
And
Like
motherfucking
there's people
swords, the fuck
and
both.
swords. It's they
out here like 300.
So it's not really used. Their gender and their sexuality isn't necessarily rooted in who they truly are. It's actually a projection from what they feel from the world. And now, since we live in this gender fluid thing, I think it's possible that there are people who took to that way. That doesn't. I don't think that that's the majority and that that's everybody. You know what I'm saying? But I do think that that happens.
Yeah, I mean,
I just think the whole thing was fucked up, honestly. Like
Then dropping the name thing is
that
fucked
shit
up.
bogus as hell. I mean,
'Cause you're ruining people's
just even
lives
beyond
and
that,
Because
it's
I love when I
like-
just see I just love people to know that this is happening.
I feel
Especially like
like-
politicians and stuff.
I feel
like
like when you for like what this
Especially,
page
voting
literally
against
was.
shit, like, come on, bro.
yeah.
Even what Trump was doing, like we said, like he didn't want to make transgender like recognized as a sex.
Mm-hmm.
That was wild. Like
Yeah.
this whole attack, like
What were you saying?
I was gonna talk about the transgender thing, but
No,
we
you can go.
already- we
No, you
obviously
can go.
went past
Do
that.
your
So
thing,
it's
do your thing.
no, you keep going.
not just gonna say that I feel like that shit is just fucked up because it's like, where is the empathy? Like, oh my god. Okay, so to be gay is one thing. To be transgender is something completely different. To be black is something. To be male is something. And to be all of those things in one and use that against somebody, or to be, you know what I mean, a few of those things and then be victimized, like that's a lot.
Because you play the victim.
That's
in
a
so many
fucking
other
lot.
Circumstances of how you're discriminated against,
Right.
X, Y, and Z. People bully on you. You worry for your life when you walking around the streets. Blah 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 blah.
But
blah.
not even-
But then you go out there and then you outing people for being into you.
And then putting them in the same position to be treated the way that you are complaining about being treated.
Real,
You know what I'm
real,
saying?
real. Like that's not love.
That's
No.
That's not love.
Probably
nothing good can
self-hate.
come of
Projecting
that.
fear
Nothing
right
good
back
can come of
into
that.
it.
Damn, that's deep. That's deep.
It's the only two decisions you can really make. Is either one from love or one from fear.
This is real.
Maybe the person wants love. That's why they're trying to expose these people.
Yeah.
I think that's a smart
some
assumption
kinda
that they
love,
need
yeah.
some love in their life.
Yeah.
Some real like love.
They
You
want
gotta think
some
about
likes,
it. You gotta
they
think
want
about it.
some-
If you gotta think about it,
they
somebody's
want
hitting
They
you
want
up.
some
followers.
likes, but what do they need?
Yeah, think about it. If everybody's hitting you up, all these niggas is hitting you up, they want to hang out with you. but nobody's claiming. I would feel some type of way.
I would feel
I would be like,
No, why? I this makes a lot of sense.
No, it's great. I think it's awesome that you consider that. That you consider that just from a standpoint of like, how are you letting people treat you? Like whatever with all the sex and the gender, like whatever you're choosing to put yourself out as, like why are you letting people treat you this way?
Yeah,
exactly. It shouldn't be acceptable.
In addition to that, it's like even once that's like been pushed on you or whatever, it's like how you go about handling that is still fucked up if you decide to just start outing motherfuckers because of that shit. Like that, there's no.
I feel like
there's more constructive ways of doing what you
way more.
I feel like even outside of like even outing people like that, I feel like the way sex is constructed for like men and women is just like so like black and white. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like you.
Yeah.
It's like to a certain extent. It's like when you're dating somebody, you have to talk to them about like what do you want sexually, and it has to be like maybe even over a period of months time so you feel comfortable having a conversation.
Right.
And it's like, damn, how did we get this so far in life? Like, I don't know. I wonder I asked my mom that question. I'm like, was this like this when you were my age? Like,
it's probably more like that. Like
damn.
we're just now. America is a pretty sexually conservative country anyway. So like a lot of the stuff that we shun or look down on, like in Europe, that shit is just like passe. It's whatever. Like this is what we do.
True.
Like we're really it just so happens that like we dominate so much of like global popular culture and what you see on the TV and all of that it seems like these barriers are being broken. But I mean, like seeing two dudes probably hold hands and make out in France, that shit was probably like super like legit in the 60s, and like we just now were okay with like gay people marrying each other like 10 years ago over here.
It's funny that you say America's so conservative sexually, because I feel like around the world we're most known for like sexual assault and pedophilia.
Whoa, really?
And like racism. Like
I think that's conservative
like,
people like
all that
like,
angst. It's gonna find its way out,
and it
this
usually is not in a healthier,
way.
constructive way. Yeah, like. Yeah, I mean, like, because so there's this weird thing like science, and it's not always fun or easy or smart to use science as something to back, but we do, so I will use it for this. Younger people in general, just like in studies and all that shit, are deemed as to be more attractive. No, am I not? I'm not justifying like fucking no fucking 16-year-old girl or anything like that. But it's your skin is young and tight, your body's fine and firm. Like all that shit happens when you're young, when you're a teenager. Like, and you can't, if you're into people, like you're going to look at the most sexually fit and prime version of a person. It just so happens that a teenager is. Mentally is where the consent shit a lot of the times comes around for me, because you're abusing and manipulating and exploiting a child. Physically though, like motherfuckers was making babies at 13, like for millennia before modern day.
So you're saying like pheromone wise, like their fertility,
fertility
is just crazy.
The human biological like science. No. I mean, but no, the subconscious does play a role into like attraction or whatever. I think honestly, like you shouldn't be laying your hands on a fucking teenager. And in some instances, like 18 can even still be a gray area. Like yeah, it's a legal age to vote, but it's a lot of 18-year-olds that still make fucked up decisions all the time. But that's like a person by person basis. We got to give some sort of age to consent. So I'm okay with it. But like on the scientific level of things, like yes, you are most fit, most primed to be having babies and shit like that when you 16 years old. Like when you like 16, 15 years old. Like
I don't know if that's completely accurate.
I don't got no hard stats, but I'm just saying like that's like the general.
But I will say this, right? I'm from Belize, right? I'm from Belize, and
when did you move to America?
2012.
Whoa.
Yeah, and so like the way that I guess like consent is looked at there is a little bit different. I mean, like yeah, you have carnal knowledge and all of that. People still get convicted for that, but still you have these crazy age gaps between a woman and who she decides to be her man.
Yeah,
you know and you're right. People do be fucking in high school. Like,
And
that's
just to
that is
just to
when they fuck
clarify,
older men.
this is not an argument for fucking with young people.
No,
I just
definitely not.
I
Definitely
just
not.
want to
Definitely
clarify.
not.
But like on the scientific, like just being all hot and ready and sexy. There are women that are fucking high school boys all the time, like school teachers fucking high school boys all the time. Like it's the same way on the other end. Like, but these niggas are like in their physical prime.
If it was in a different context, it might make more sense.
I feel like I think it's
We live in the
debatable
Amazon.
whether or not they in their physical
But
prime.
if we take it
But I
out
will
if we take
say-
it out of our high and mighty quote unquote civilized society and we put it on some jungle man shit, then it all makes sense.
It could
But
be
but
different.
that's human fucking nature at the end of that. Like socialization is a thing all across this world. Like every culture is different. I'm not sitting up here once again.
Yeah, okay, so let's look at it for what
justifying
it is, though,
but
right?
I'm
Just to
saying,
be clear, let's look at it for what it
young
is for a second.
motherfuckers do look good.
Can you tell me
Like,
how
that's
it
a-
is
that's a
like in
fact of
Belize
being
versus
young.
here?
Huh?
Can you tell me how it is in Belize versus here?
How it is in Belize versus here, I would say that
Like our conversation we just had, like
I feel a little bit more love in Belize.
okay.
Nice.
You know what I mean? I feel like the love comes a little bit more natural. You don't have to like really fight for it. You don't have to. I mean, you still got all the same shit. You got the corruption. You got the gangs, and it might be even just a little bit more ruthless there. You know what I mean? Because like it's really fucking soldiers walking through your neighborhood late at night with, you know what I mean, big ass guns. So it's like, but just overall, like in terms of like community and in terms of
It's really
like,
tight knit.
yeah,
Because I came from the Philippines too, so it's the same thing too.
yeah.
I'm coming back in 2020, so can't wait.
But Belize is also, when you talk about conservative, I feel like
It's a pretty conservative
very
country,
a lot more
So is the
conservative.
Philippines as well.
Yeah, y'all are
yeah.
killing. They're murdering people in the
murdering
Philippines
drug dealers
as
and
on some
police
war on
smokers
drug shit.
as a
Like
roll
it's
of blunt.
wild.
For real.
It's wild.
You really? Is
They're
that what's going on?
cleansing, yeah.
Yeah, they're really killing people.
They
Like
have a drug problem, so like we
yeah.
have to kill all the drug dealers and just
Wow.
even
And the
weed.
users.
User drug
They're
they-
just-
Wow. But see, like as wild as that fucking sounds, and this is
You're
like the baby radical in me talking, right?
No,
But as wild as that sounds, it's like there's something about that in third world countries that I really fucking respect. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
is that the best way to handle that
No,
situation?
'cause
Absolutely not.
Because when
But
you said
just that drastic action
Mhm.
is like,
and 'cause
At least something's getting fucking done.
yeah.
right? You know what I mean? You realize you have, is it the right thing to do?
It's
Probably
it's
the
like
fuck
when
not. 'Cause who
somebody
how can you
like
really know who the fuck is a drug dealer and who's not? I'm sure there's hella innocent motherfuckers.
yeah yeah.
I feel like we're
yeah,
eventually
yeah.
gonna get to that point here in America. I just think we're so young. And so
Yeah.
in
And
comparison
it's
to
probably
the
not
rest,
even
just
gonna be for
figuring
the
it
same
out.
reason. It's gonna be on
But I
some something a lot more trivial and like, you know.
I
America
feel like,
loves drugs too much.
I mean, like, when I
They
went to
don't fuck people up.
Nigeria, that's the first time I seen like a soldier walk around with like an AK and walk around with guns, and I know the corruption is real. It's damn near the same in America right now. Like police damn near come to the neighborhood, damn near rob the drug dealers. They damn near get to the point where like, oh, they'll murder you and they'll
Yeah,
cover
that
it
ain't even a
up.
damn near. That's definitely happening.
Yeah,
That
it's
depends what
happening.
neighborhood you're in. There's a lot of people that don't realize that that's real. They
Yeah,
never
like
see it.
I mean, at one
Lincoln
point, in time-
Park ain't
okay,
seen
okay,
that
I'm gonna give you an
shit happen,
example.
yeah.
Like I used to live in Wrigleyville, I lived in University Village, and I lived on the low end. So like in all these different neighborhoods, there's different crimes going on, but like you'll face different things. Like when I lived in Wrigleyville, you didn't know about Chirac. You just knew about like, oh yeah, it's like child predators up here. Oh yeah, it was like freak body ass dudes up here.
So
Or,
a
like-
lot of rapists around.
Yeah, a lot of
That's
rapists
a
in the
fact.
area.
That's a
So,
So
fact.
like when
The
I lived on the
cops
low
too.
end,
The
it's a lot.
cops too.
It's a lot of like people getting stuck up and robbed, or your car getting broken in. So it's like a lot of different crime in different areas of the city, but all in total, like it gets very, very weird. Like, and it's fucked up. And I feel like the police here are like, oh yeah, we can in every city almost we can get down on anybody, anytime, anywhere, even on camera, and we could justify it. Like,
Well, the police is the biggest and most powerful gang in this country.
They don't have no honor behind them.
Most gangs don't these days.
That's why it doesn't
it's
work.
a lot of shit that went out
There's
the window.
other. I mean, I
like,
guess corruption happens anywhere, and especially if people have power, especially if they have
absolute
an AK or
power
something on
corrupts
them.
absolutely.
and look
But
at the
you
president here. Look at all the corruption going
You
on.
talking about Donald Trump?
Yeah.
I mean, what's going on isn't really anything.
I had to
new
double
at
check. You said
all.
look at the president
Yeah,
here.
I was like,
Obviously,
who?
there's only one, but I'm like, damn.
None of this
You talking about-
corruption is.
It
Like,
ain't
all-
Obama no more.
I was literally telling Mark that the nigga literally said like he told the people on the news like I might say a lie. They're like, do you lie? He was like, I don't lie. he said it might come back out that it might come back differently.
Let me tell you.
I was like, whoa!
Let me tell you,
big cap.
The difference between the corruption is all the same.
He's probably a good
45 is
cheater.
just actually saying it out loud to the people like it's all good, and that's why everybody's upset. The corruption is all the same. He's just a loudmouth about it, and that's brand fucking new.
Yeah.
It's like he's really in front.
They're like, yo.
And it's all
Front
yeah.
street.
It's also astounding how many people actually do see it, because like, you know, Fox News got their angle and like not waving the finger at Donald Trump, but the fact remains, like, he gets caught in a lot of lies and a lot of wrong truth telling happening or whatever, and like his supporters are still like, I fuck with this dude regard. But I think that just actually is a bigger marker. Yeah, and it's the clout, because America does love celebrity, but I think it also does really give us a good case study on where we sit as far as race relations goes in this country. Because most of this shit that people get behind has something to do with immigration or some shit that's against like black or brown people. Mm-hmm. Asians don't get picked on because Asians are not feared by the white man, and Asians go to school and do their jobs, and you know they're on the conservative side of things most of the time. They're afraid of black people because they just never liked us over here anyway. They've been scared of us, and now the Mexicans are coming back to take their country. And shit is getting fucked up, and the numbers are growing at a very fast rate. It's a majority within our lifetime. White people will literally not be the majority population in this country. And I love it because it equals out the playing field more than anything, because, like, we need more representation.
I think it's a step in that direction. I don't think it automatically.
Oh no! It is, but like
But
those
it's
numbers,
definitely a
and
step in that
we also now benefit from having social media in front of our face, and this is years ahead of these population changes. Like the Nike doing what they did with Colin Kaepernick. We just got two Muslim women elected to Congress. Awesome. Like
what
shit
states?
like that is happening right now.
Please.
Right now.
That is
I need
that's
the
like a
specifics.
real thing. So like, you know, because we
You know how
benefit
that cap
from
goes, Jake.
the tool of social media, we can raise
That could be
more
Connecticut and
consciousness and
Rhode
awareness to it that we wouldn't have if the internet did not exist, if Twitter or Facebook was not thought of. It would be a lot more of the same white faces with the same shows. Like, the only reason shit has changed is because people are talking about it now. And the more people that exist in a larger population, because business people at the end of the day care about business.
Shout out Florida
Them
girl
rich
here.
white folks,
She
they
knows.
protected. They're
Colorado elected their first openly gay governor.
openly gay
Whoa.
governor in Colorado.
I
It's
see you.
busting. But like those rich people
Come on,
at the end
Boulder.
of the day care about their bottom line. We live in a capitalist society.
Michigan and Minnesota elected Muslim women into Congress.
Whoa, Minnesota and Michigan.
That's the
I'm
same
proud of
two
you,
Muslim
Michigan.
women you just
Not
mentioned.
Minnesota, but Michigan.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
proud of you. Minnesota elected the wrestler nigga, Jace. The writer.
JC the Body Ventura back in the day.
Yeah. Jake the Snake. No, Jake the Snake.
No, it was Jesse Ventura.
Oh,
Jesse
was
the
it? My
Body
bad.
Ventura. Yeah. But I mean, like, times are changing. Like, Nike, at the end of the day, they could. Well, Whiting and Kennedy's the agency that did the shit or whatever, and they're smart. They're always going to be a little more forward and progressive. But Nike giving the green light on that Colin Kaepernick commercial is because they know. And the CEO came out and said, these guys that are burning our shoes aren't even our target demographic. Like, why give a fuck about those guys? Like, they're very, like, business people are very aware of the numbers and the numbers changing. Also, who spends money on shit, who controls culture, all these things that help produce profit. So, in a sense, like, us actually being on it right now, I can only imagine in Alabama the same way it's gonna be niggas dying because it ain't enough food stamps to go around. Like, it's gonna be a thing. And 30 years from now, it's gonna be a drastically different America across so many different spectrums. We will likely have
Okay,
a
hold on,
woman
I got a
president,
question.
a woman of color, a gay president could even happen in 30 years.
A gay president is definitely gonna happen.
Definitely. Probably still be a white man,
What about a
but
gay
it'll
Bruce?
happen.
I was gonna say,
You don't have to be
shit.
Christian to be president.
You
just
don't?
Have to,
You
but,
don't.
But you do
You
have to
play-
be
you play
Christian to
into
survive
it.
successfully in this country.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
hell.
yeah.
So I'm just like,
You
okay.
Okay,
You like, why
okay.
then why is
I got a
everybody
question- I got a
openly
question for
fucking
everybody
Christian
on the
like that? That's
table.
a requirement.
Because it helps solidify a vote. There's a
Okay,
certain
okay.
margin of
Yeah, you're
people out
pandering.
there that like won't
Exactly.
trust you
I get
if you
it.
don't believe in God.
Right.
It's
Abortion
atheist.
thing.
I'm sure there were atheist presidents, and maybe they didn't play too much up on their religion.
Right.
But yeah, like Obama go to church. You still need the church vote. Most of the country is still, even though a lot of people are going more atheist or like agnostic or whatever, and
Yeah,
Muslim.
you know what? I'm
but,
really
like, you still
excited
need
to
to believe in God.
to get or pay more attention to politics and learn more about that. I think that I'm gonna take some time to do that in the really near future.
That's love. That's love.
Because yeah, there's a lot of it that I'm at this point very unconcerned with, and I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but it is what it is. You know what I mean? And I acknowledge the fact that it's troubling to a lot of people, and yeah, I'm looking forward to correcting that. But
That's good.
there's
I
a
got-
lot
I got a-
about
I
it
got a
that for
question
me
for
is just a
everybody.
turnoff.
What's some of y'all biggest concern like in the next 10 years? Like it could just be anything, like anything in the world. What's one of your biggest concerns in the next 10 years? And I want to start with Jackie, Mars, Slay, and then Rob. Then I'll go last.
Okay. There's a couple things that came to mind. Let me just
Okay.
walk for a second. Biggest concerns.
You
the
can spell a
next
spew of
10
them out.
What's that?
You can spell out a spew of them out if you have to.
The next 10 years, education, whichever way that's going to go. I think a lot about what I want to see happen in school systems. So I think that's what everything comes down to. Like as a society, like what is it all going into? And it should all be going into schools and teaching. And I don't know if that means that we have to do like smaller, schooling houses and not make it this big thing, or there's a lot of different directions we can go and take heed to what other countries do, or what we used to do in the past, and pull from that and put it back into our school system. But there definitely needs to be a reform there. I don't know if the next 10 years, if the prison reform will go down in the next 10 years. I think we need about
It's gonna be
we
small
about
steps.
50,
We making
75
small
years
steps.
before we
Yeah.
see
We making small steps.
something.
I honestly
the
think
way Trump is with the judges, I don't
think-
know with the reform.
I think we only have a couple more years of him.
Yeah.
We only have a couple more years of Trump. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I know whatever. We don't
But
know
that's
if
intentional too, though. I feel like the point of Trump ever being elected was to be the complete opposite of Obama in every way.
Yeah. That's
And
how
to, like,
he
really
won. That's how he
drive a
won.
point.
He did that.
Which is why I mentioned the racial component,
Yeah.
because, like, honestly,
Mark,
a
what's
lot
your
of those
point?
people came up
I
because they
think-
didn't like Trump. You had another one to add?
I just have to take it there. That I definitely, I think we'll see a shift naturally of how we treat our women and girls. That's the biggest reflection of society. We could see that in the schools.
Real.
And one of my biggest concerns is America's relationship to Israel and how that what that causes globally. So there's more immediate things happening right here, but I think that relationship is like that's huge. Affect us.
That's World War
There's so
III
much.
type
It's so confusing, the relationship, and
Yeah.
there's a lot of strong feelings about it, but that's for a reason.
What about you, Mars?
My biggest one is income inequality. I think that is something that really just it exacerbates everything that already was happening. It was a point where the shit was a lot closer, and like I don't know what was it. I'm just throwing out random numbers. Make like 30 times more than like your regular employee back in the day, and now they make like 300 times more. It's like crazy how that shit's going up over 30 years. That's like a super fast amount of time. And you look at somebody like
Jobs report with Trump where he says more people are working. It's like they're not. It's like temp jobs.
I knew that
No
for
one's
a
making
while
any money.
because when I got into politics a couple years ago, it was the Obama era that got me into politics or whatever, like very heavily. And like it was a point where like I didn't have a job, so between like applying for jobs, I was on like HuffPost Live and like MotherJones.com, like just the fucking what's the shit, Jezebel, and like all these like progressive, like we stand for something as blog sites when blogging was still a thing or whatever. That's just kind of what got me into the door with, and I just been like I'm into strategy now. Like I see strategy as like PR type shit, and I love political strategy so much. But income inequality is like super important. Sustainability is still like in my heart and soul. Those two, it's so much racial issues that could be solved, religious issues that could be solved, war issues that could be solved with solving income inequality. But the one that I think probably has the biggest impact, which is my third one, is money in politics. We really need to get that back to what it used to be. There was a cap on a lot of shit. For the Supreme Court to sit up there and say like Google can act as a person and give unlimited funds to a political cause, it's silly to me when a company by nature is not a person. I get it if you feel like you have a voice, but that's what you pay for advertising for, and that's what you do other shit. You can hide your money and have like so many different angles. As an oil company, you're just giving endless money to like some dude in Texas, and he literally can win the election because he has more money than you. Not because of his policies, not because of what he stands for, not because of his track record, because he outmarketed you. And that's stupid because people most of the time don't have any education on the real meat of politics and news. It's the couple of shits that you see on TV, and that's what you get people riled up to vote. But it's stuff that was on the ballot today in Chicago alone that was talking about water, increasing motherfucking like penalties for people selling guns illegally. Shit like that. They don't get talked about on the news, bro.
I said no for the guns.
I saw it was a couple of lists that
The
went
reason I
around
said
that
no
said,
for the guns because it's like people who bring in guns illegally are either black or brown people, and it's like
I understand that.
And
I
I- and
actually
I-
said yes though because
feel
I
you.
don't care who you are. If you selling guns illegally, you need to get with.
I know niggas who sell guns illegally and they pay for school and they pay for a lot of stuff. So
I know niggas
I
who
feel
sell
you.
weed and all that
and
shit.
I know
It's
niggas
like-
sell
it's
weed,
like,
and I know
yeah,
niggas
it's
who
like-
sell weed
yeah.
too. So like, at
It's
the end
like-
of the day, it's
What's
like
harmful?
it's-
yeah, do right.
One
do
is
wrong.
definitely more harmful than
mean,
actually killing people. That's something to
yeah.
think of, and like what's actually killing my community. Like I think anybody.
I think we killing the community too. If you want to keep it real,
maybe
I
that
feel
shit.
no. If we keep it all the way real, I feel like there's a lot of weed heads out here, and I feel like weed heads like dope heads.
It's escapism, and
No,
you
it
can
ain't,
also.
it ain't escapism. It ain't escapism at the end of the day. If you smoke X amount of weed and you can't afford it, you a fiend.
You also got to think about motherfuckers.
That's
getting
like calling a
robbed.
person a fiend, but like still,
Motherfuckers
that's like weed is not an actual addictive thing that is out there killing people. We're talking about
I think
harming
that
the
that
community.
I think
They're
that
still
that
trying to figure out ways.
Wait, I just want to say, I think that that was on the ballot today. While I see where you're coming from, I think that specifically was just a means to target more black and brown people.
Yeah, it was.
Of
I don't think it's
course.
gonna get used,
Of course, I mean,
fair like that.
niggas was
really.
gonna
So I
get
feel
hard
like
sentences.
there's a few things
anyway
on the
that
ballot, and that's
end.
why it's difficult. That you're like, you don't mean what you're saying, you know?
Of course.
It's all very careful.
Of course, but I meant what I said when I
What
said
about
if
you,
you
Shalay?
selling guns
What is-
illegally,
what
you
are some
still
of
should
your
go to
issues?
jail. Like I don't care.
What I would want to see change in the next 10 years is the question, right? Probably just the way that gender and sexuality is viewed,
Okay.
and how, like we said before, it can be weaponized and used against people. I don't really fuck with that. So the faster we can get that fixed, the better to me.
That's it.
That'll get right down to the.
I feel
Root
like
of a lot
How
of
old are you,
problems.
Shalay? I feel like you're very young spirited, very young at heart.
24.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Is that still
I feel
that?
like-
That makes
Yeah.
sense?
I feel like what she describes gets down to the core of like what would solve a lot. It gets down to the level of cause. Things are fucked up.
One quick tidbit: I did do extensive homework on my judges, so I made sure I voted for judges who would not give drastic hard sentences to people. But I still do believe that hard sentences can curb what gun violence is doing in our community, which is why I voted yes.
I voted for a lot of the judges to get out of there, man. It was a few. But
You had X
your
amount.
turn, Rob.
I'd say corporate loopholes.
Nice.
Cause it's I think it should be plain. Should just be fair. There should be a cap on certain situation that when they make deals and will affect the middle class and all that. Cause for instance, the financial bubble that happened in 2008, within the next 10 years, that might happen in our lifetime. Like all these countries that's dumping their bonds that they're holding U.S. bonds, and they're just dumping it in the market, and that's gonna affect us, and water too, clean water. I advocate.
Oh yeah, we got what is that? Shit in the water now, like Flint.
Yeah,
Yeah, we got lead now in the pot.
what?
They stopped putting lead pipes in everywhere else in the country in 1972. They didn't outlaw it till 1979. Chicago put them up till the day they outlawed them.
So yeah, we have lead pipes here in Chicago. I think my biggest three concerns would be corruption, like just corruption in general, like from like political corruption to like financial corruption. Like, it's too many people, the small people that are like that's dying. Like, I feel like that. I feel like the American dream for like what it was is not achievable, like through real estate anymore for some people, and I feel like real estate is only gonna get more expensive. So I feel like that's a big thing, and I feel like the third one is like marijuana, and like how that is in America, because like now it's becoming like a problem, like on a big scale. It's like they open up the biggest dispensary in the world in Vegas on the first. It's like Disney World for weed. Then like all the CBD they put in the weed in Colorado, people don't understand like CBDs make you more addicted to weed. So it's like even if you wasn't like you were addicted before, you get a craving for it now. So it's like CBDs in the weed, and it's like they put more CBDs than what it is in THC. So you think you're not as high, but like now you're gonna be craving for it even more. So that's fucked up.
You
Then,
mean like the way they're making it like a pharmaceutical thing?
Yeah.
Instead of just letting it be.
Everything is like
Yeah.
modified and like we got you into science now. This is the right.
then
amount
like
of X,
people
Y,
aren't
Z.
even making money off of it anymore. Like on a whole, like, it's just so dark. It's very very dark.
Took a good thing, made it bad.
Man. But what about you, Jake?
Oh, you want my opinion? You guys said most of them already, but the last one I would think of is like housing, affordable housing. Like New York, a lot of the cities, I think like 70% of the population is supposed to live in major cities by like 2020, so like or 2030, some shit like that. But all these cities are building. They have a glut of luxury high rises, like in Manhattan, where they can't sell luxury high rises anymore. Here in Chicago, they thought Amazon was coming, and now they didn't. So I'm waiting for that bubble to pop. We have a lot of glass towers that just went up with the I think with the expectation that there would be all these Amazon workers moving here. Village, where they built a bunch of shit out of cinder blocks, and like down the street they built some out of like a foam foundation I saw a few weeks ago. So like builders got to stop cutting costs and like build nice homes for people to live in, because I think if you have a place to live and it's affordable, then like everything else starts to figure itself out pretty quick.
Yeah.
You know?
That's a fact.
Yeah.
But then property taxes then.
Huh?
Property taxes.
I mean, if your house is affordable, property tax. You can pay like
But
all your money.
but then our property taxes is like second in the nation to New Jersey. We like
I'm
the
not paying
second.
a property tax.
Oh yeah, our property taxes are crazy here in Illinois.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that was on the ballot too.
Gotta pay.
So if you live in the city for more than 10 years, you get like,
Yeah.
you get a lower property tax.
I voted yes for that. I wonder how many people said no.
But it was also for people
It makes it hard
who
to wanna
make
buy a
an
place.
income of over $100,000.
Yeah.
So so that's why I actually said no on it, because it's a lot of people who own houses that ain't making $100,000.
I thought it was under $100,000.
It was over.
I thought it was under.
I thought it was under 100,000.
My touch screen said over, so unless Russia hacked my shit, I
You
read
had a
that shit like 3
touchscreen?
times.
Yeah, it's touchscreen.
My voting
But
situation
it
was
was like
a mess.
I could have sworn mine was over
The
too.
income over 100,000 was what I saw at least.
I thought it was under.
We'll verify that.
Yeah, we gotta verify that.
But thanks, y'all. It's been a blast. Blast
Thanks,
from
guys.
the past and a blast for your ass.
So yeah, we had Slay on, we had Jackie on. I want to thank everybody for coming on the show. It's election day.
We really appreciate you guys. For
We really
coming out.
appreciate
Thank
you
you
taking
guys
the
for
time
having
as
us.
well.
Hell
You
yeah,
know,
this
this
was
is
cool.
So
I was like super nervous in the beginning, but it made a lot more sense as we proceeded. That was it was
Definitely.
awesome.
Co-ed Coochie conference coming up.
yeah, so shout that date out again. Shout out your ads.
The next Coochie conference is gonna be a judo self-defense class. It's gonna
Yes.
be November 16th. You can hit us
Downtown.
up on Twitter, Instagram.
Oh, is the one that G Baby goes to?
yeah.
Yes.
Lit, I'm gonna be going there. I'm gonna be getting my outfit too. Lit.
Yes. Yes.
Lit.
So yeah,
it's gonna be an awesome class.
Sweet. Mars, when is your event?
Which one?
The one you got coming up soon.
Oh, that's Black Friday. We gonna do another podcast before then.
Okay, but tell them how the last family affair was before we get out of here though.
I mean, it was I don't know, legendary. It was classic Mars. I don't really know what to say. If ever you've been to something of mine, then you already know where the standard already is, and it went well. So, by my standards, if it went well, people had a good time. They offered me a monthly, so I got my first monthly in the city.
Hey.
Yeah, Black Friday will be the next one. I'm thinking about what I want to do on a monthly basis because it probably be like a second Friday thing to team up with like the Pilsen Art Walk. But Black Friday is a special occasion, so we're gonna do something kind of epic. I got DJ Just One coming through for the next one, so it'll be a good time. A family affair. That's like my little bro. He threw one of his first parties for the Heatbox series.
He DJ'd the Coochie conference anniversary party.
Yeah.
Hey, yeah, he did.
Yeah. Mad residencies around town. If you listening to this, it's surprising if you don't know who Just One is and you from Chicago. So, you know, it's gonna be a banger. If you know what I come with and you know what he come with, it's gonna be a good time. It'll be a family affair.
Definitely check out Mar's Instagram page. We definitely be posting it on our page. But thank you, ladies, for coming through on the show.
Very welcome.
Thank you for all the love and the support. I definitely will shout out CC all day long.
Thank you.
All right.
Same.
Peace.
Adios.
Bye.